Hey, this is Sasha. Thanks for joining me in this episode. And what I want to share with you in this video is, should you actually quit blogging? Stay tuned. All right, so I got a question not too long ago from one of the viewers, and they wonder, hey, should I actually quit blogging? They run a sports website and they wonder if they should quit blogging. So the thing is with anything news related and news based, time sensitive content, it is very difficult to make things work. How do I know? Well, I've tried it in the past, actually, in one of my previous websites here that you might have or might have not seen. So this is my other division, Traders Fly, where I work with people on investing and trading options and so forth. And some of the content in the past, I've done some news related posts, but the problem is when you're talking about the stock market, the way things move, when you're looking at, starting looking at charts, all these things change so quickly and so rapidly that the big news companies are the ones that really attract those kinds of people. Not to mention, in the marketplace, there's not a lot of stuff that actually, if you get into trading much more, the news really doesn't dictate the market movement as much. The news is after the fact. In any case, with that being said, knowing when to quit is pretty important. And there's a good little book by Seth Godin called The Dip. So if you want to check that out, that's a great book to read for you to really understand when to quit. But I think what's important is when you look at some of these things and you look at a sports news website or a stock news website or any content that's time sensitive, especially if you are a new blogger, right? If you're new, this makes it tough because you have to drive the traffic to these places, and the shelf life of that content is so small. So if you look at content, how long it's useful, if I make a tutorial or training on, let's say, Windows 10 operating system, well, that shelf life, I might have 3 years before that book, that course, those documents, those blog posts are not useful or as useful anymore. So it's a 3-year shelf life. If I do things like this, about to give up and quit a blog, that might be more useful for maybe, 10 years or something along those lines. So the shelf life could be longer. So I want you to look at the length and of the timeline that you have available for your content. What's the length that your content's going to be relevant for? So if you can make that length longer, you're going to be way better off. And that's exactly, just even doing the Backstage income stuff right here. Some of these blog posts, they didn't even get traction till a year or two later. So it takes time for those things to just kind of sit there and just kind of cook and do their thing until they develop. So what should you really do if you've got a time sensitive subject like this? Well, what you got to do is more than likely head on over to my guys over here at Pork Bun. Grab yourself a domain name. They give you free privacy there as well. Fantastic sponsors that I have. And then build yourself a new blog that focuses on evergreen content. Content that has a long shelf life, very long, and has the possibility for you to continue to get traffic over multiple years. And that way you can allow your blog to just continue to have a way longer and better shelf life. Anyways, that's what can generate that small snowball effect. That small snowball will continue to roll and get bigger and bigger and bigger. And with time, as you have like 50 content pieces that are slowly building and building upon each other, eventually that blog will grow and get bigger. Yes, I understand sometimes news things are interesting. You might want to be involved in it. Something you might be attractive. But the downside is to penetrate that industry, to make it work, and to get ahead into the eyeballs of the viewers, it's very difficult to make it happen. So you have to have some good staying power to be able to make it work or do something totally different to make it happen. So with that in mind, I would say if you stick to more evergreen content, you're much more likely to succeed because if you're sticking to those time-sensitive subject matters, it's not that it can't work. They are interesting, attractive, and they create a little bit of a buzz at that beginning stages. But unfortunately, once that content is old news, people aren't coming back. So thanks for joining me. I hope you enjoyed this video. Be sure to grab some freebies on my website by clicking the link over here and subscribe to the channel if you're brand new. Thanks again, and I will see you next time.